We've now discussed much of what will happen during the time that learners attend your presentation. But what about what comes after?
Learning is a process, not an event. That's why we focused on repeated exposure to content and opportunities to engage with the content in meaningful ways. While rates of forgetting vary from learner to learner, what any of us retains from a single learning experience tends to decline quite rapidly in the days and weeks following the experience.
That means your presentation is really only part of what learners need. Just one part of a bigger picture of fully absorbing and mastering the material you cover. To ensure that bigger picture comes into being, it's important to help learners understand the need to revisit and continue to engage over time with the key concepts and ideas covered in your presentation. And it's also important to provide them with opportunities to do that, or help them find opportunities.
So, in this final step, we're going to look at how you can help your learners create a future in which the learning you've facilitated sticks and gets put into action. First, taking the bigger picture metaphor to heart, help your learners create a sketch of what that bigger picture looks like. Painters use sketches to get basic ideas down on paper and then refine them over time. That's what you want to help learners do. The sketch should include clear actions learners may take over time, starting immediately, to ensure that they retain and apply what they've learned. Depending on the nature of your presentation, these actions could include trying out a particular method or procedure in different situations, or it might mean asking learners to make daily journal entries for a period of time to note when they've applied one of your key concepts and the results they got. But it's also useful to ask learners to add their own elements to the sketch, whether by creating their own supplemental plan or providing them with an editable version of whatever you provide. While presenters typically have a great deal of expertise or experience in whatever topic they're teaching, the truth is you probably don't know for certain the future each learner is trying to paint. The bigger picture, the why, the goal, will vary some from learner to learner. By asking learners to help sketch the bigger picture, by asking them to identify what they'll do differently in the future as a result of what was covered in the presentation, you offer them the ability to personalize the learning experience, to make it as relevant as possible in their specific contexts.
Provide resources to support the learner with her sketch and help her refine or fill in parts of her sketch as she takes actions that help her retain and apply what she's learned. These resources might include references and tip sheets, checklists, self-checks that learners should complete at established intervals, or links to additional materials, articles, books, videos that help reinforce or expand on the most essential elements of your presentation. These can be put into a document or posted to a web page. Finally, for the sketch and resources to have an impact, they have to be used. So, encourage learners to make clear, measurable commitments to themselves. For example, by setting dates by which they will accomplish items they sketched out. And encourage them to find accountability partners in their workplace or within professional networks or communities they're part of, such as ASHA, to help hold them to applying what they learn. As part of supporting accountability, you may even want to document concrete ways in which a colleague or manager can best support accountability. One of the resources you provide may help support this. You might create a brief guide for accountability partners that covers what they should do, when, and why. To help you tie what we've talked about to your bigger picture, here's a multi-part assignment for you to start on right after you complete this course. For at least your next 3 presentations, use the provided worksheet to plan out how you will set the stage, craft the content, promote participation, and frame the future. If you've been doing the work we've asked throughout the course, you'll have a head start on filling in the worksheet for one presentation. Set a date by which you'll complete the worksheet for that first presentation. Go ahead and pause this presentation so you can add that to your calendar right now.
So use the worksheet up front. Then, after you've developed and delivered the presentation, evaluate how effective you were in setting the stage, crafting the content, promoting participation, and framing the future. We're asking you to do this for at least the next 3 presentations to help you practice with these concepts and techniques and begin to build fluency and know-how. For planning your presentations, evaluating your presentations, or both, you might involve a colleague or other learner to provide feedback and help hold you accountable. To recap, effectively framing the future means you create a sketch. The sketch makes clear what next steps are for applying the skills and information your presentation covers, and it helps the learners connect doing that to their larger goals, their bigger picture. Provide resources. The resources are a way for learners to dig deeper on topics of interest that you cut to be essential when crafting the content. Resources can also provide learners with support as they work to apply specific knowledge or skills. Encourage accountability. Ask the learners to make concrete commitments for continuing to learn about and apply what you've covered in your presentation. This may involve them working with a colleague or manager or other learner, or it may be the individual learner working on his own and holding himself responsible for taking action.
Consider this sequence of letters. On their own, the letters may not mean that much, but if you think about what we've just covered, their meaning may reveal itself.
SS stands for set the stage. CC, craft the content. PP, promote participation, and FF, frame the future.
Remembering those 4 essential aspects, you'll create more impactful presentations. And we've offered some practical approaches grounded in the science of adult learning about how to set the stage, craft the content, promote participation, and frame the future to increase the likelihood that the material you teach will truly be learned and remembered. So, check out the worksheet we've provided to help you with your next presentations and look over the resources. And this course is a resource you can return to as you work on presentations.
Our work here is done, but yours is just beginning. As you aim to develop more effective presentations, you'll need to take the time and do the work to leverage the science of adult learning. Over time, with more practice, you'll become more fluent, and the skills and techniques we've talked about will come to you more easily. But there are no shortcuts. Just as learners must do the work, so must presenters.
But the goal is worth the effort. When you craft truly effective learning experiences, the ones that are remembered, the ones that create positive impact for the people involved, you've helped make change possible. You've made a mark on the world.
And that's the power of presenting for impact.